Good morning, gorgeous Phoenixes. Daniella here, ReDesign Your Life Forever. And yes, I am driving, but the phone is in a very stable place, and as you can see, I am not holding it at all. I wanted to come to you this morning and start off with one of the number one things that I get. As you can see, I am off driving, and I am on my way to do just what I am going to be telling you about. Now, when I work with somebody, one of the first things that we do is we identify what fears are actually in place in the subconscious, what ones are really active that are actually holding you back from doing the kinds of things that you want to do, living the kind of life that you want to live, having the kinds of surroundings that you want to be living in. And that is a huge factor, and that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. This huge factor of the kind of environment you want to be living in. Now, I've been doing a lot of my own learning and growing and, looking into feng shui and things and such of that nature. And it really lends itself to what I have been helping other people with and been reflecting on my life and looking around my closets and going, holy mother of God, I need to get my shit together here. So, literally. So, one of the number one fears that most everyone has is that fear of letting go. Now, a lot of us come from either Depression era parents or parents who had parents that were in the Depression era, and there is a huge gap between the mentality of being in lack and the mentality of being in abundance. Now, of course, they lived through a period of time where there quite literally was lack. And so they've passed down that fear that there's not going to be enough, that you're not going to have enough or be enough. So you've got to hold on to everything you ever, that you ever buy or you ever find. You just got to hold on to everything, white knuckle tight, because you never know when you're going to need it. That was always a big thing. You never know when you're going to need it. And that is actually a fear that is active within us to this day. And today I wanted to share with you what I suggest people do to move through that fear. What is the thing that I recommend to people to do to move through that fear? And it is something that you can start doing today. So what is that thing? It's actually going through your closets, going through the corners of your house, and cleaning that stuff out. And I know it's scary because, oh, here comes in some stuff. And I know it's scary because we've got that fear in the back of our mind, or even in the front of our mind, that says, oh, you're going to need this someday. You never know when you're going to need it, so you can't get rid of it. And that is a fear of lack. That is a fear ultimately tied, actually, to us believing that we are not enough to be able to create our own abundance. And in that, we are not capable of creating our own financial security, having the things that we need in life, or the things that we want. So by holding on to this stuff, it subconsciously is letting us know that it's okay, we've got stuff, we're okay, we're safe, we're secure, all of these things. But that's holding us hostage. So in that vein, what I have done is I went through my closets and I discovered that I had two 3-drawer containers, those little plastic drawer containers that were full to the brim of all kinds of craft supplies and fabric flowers and all kinds of things, because I went through a creative phase where I was making hair accessories and things and stuff and cuteness of all that nature. Well, now I've been out of that phase for probably a good 2 years, and I've got stuff that I've been holding on to for more than 2 years because of that same fear. And it's all in the same stuff. And particularly those of us who are crafty people, who are artsy people, certain art supplies aren't always, exceedingly inexpensive. And so, you know, there are certain things that we may want to hold on to. However, a lot of these flowers and things, you know, they came from the dollar store. They came from, you know, sales or this or that or the other. And I, honest to God, have not touched them for over 2 years, just about. And if you haven't touched it for 2 years, you're not going to touch it. And that is an action that you can take to go through your things. Old magazines that you know, haven't looked at in forever, and you say, oh, well, you know, I want to save this because, you know, it's got a recipe in it that I want. Well, then go in and take the time, set aside some time for yourself on the weekend this weekend, and go through your magazines and tear out those recipes that you want. Keep the recipe and then throw the rest of the magazine away. The same thing with old newspapers, the same thing with old craft supplies, fabrics. I mean, all of these things that we are all guilty of, I say it's guilty very, very lightheartedly, of holding on to. So as you can see right here, I'm gonna hold it up, boop, that big ass box. There's a big ass box right there, and that is all full of those flowers. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to let these people pass me. Oh yeah. Is this the right one? I forget if it's the right one or not. Going to the post office, because I contacted a friend of mine who actually does make headdresses. She makes belly dance headdresses. She makes all kinds of special occasion things, you know, such and such and such and such, and she makes this stuff. She's actually using this stuff, and I'm not using it anymore. So I contacted her and I said, hey friend, do you need this kind of stuff? And I took pictures of it and I showed it to her and I said, hey, do you need this? And she goes, oh my God, you have no idea how much this will actually help me, you know, have materials for my next line of headdresses. And I'm like, boom, it's yours. So not only am I making myself feel good because I am donating to a friend, or you could donate to the Salvation Army, or you could donate these things to whomever you want to. So not only do I feel good because I'm helping out a friend now, I have the added bonus of getting the shit out of my closet. And so now I have more room, I have more space to not put more stuff in there, but to organize the things that I already have, or just clear out that space entirely, because we can actually have space in our houses that isn't filled with junk. And I know it's hard to believe because we've been trained that we've got to hold on to everything, but really, oh, it's Columbus Day and I totally forgot. God damn it. Well, so much for going to the post office today, Phoenixes. I totally forgot it was Columbus Day. And so I can't even drop this box off because it's way too big. But I did want to share with you while I was on my way that this is a huge thing that I tell my clients to do. And one thing that I am showing you that I'm doing in my own life is, boom, big old box, as you can see, filled to the brim with all of these bags. And every single one of these bags is chock full of flowers and craft supplies. So how can you move through the fear? You can ask yourself, what can I let go of? What can I actually let go of? What are things that are sitting around in my house that are not serving me anymore? You know, do I love them? Are they beautiful? Yes. But am I working with them? Is it bringing me joy, really, to have those things packed in the back of my closet that I'm never going to use again? Those jeans that are 6 sizes too small that you swear you're going to get into again. I am a huge culprit of doing that. I mean, all of these things, you're like, oh, this shirt, you know, I love it, but I just need to repair it. You've needed to repair that shirt for 6 years, boo-boo. It's time to let it go. Huge culprit of that. So if this is sounding like you, I really understand where you're coming from. And I wanted to let you know that you're not the only one that deals with this kind of thing, that is being held hostage by these kinds of fears that tell us that we're not going to have enough, that we're not good enough to have the financial security or the abundance security to be able to remanifest those items if we need them. So, again, like with the gene example, you may want to lose weight, and that's fantastic. But holding on to those genes from 6 years ago, more often than not, is not actually giving you inspiration to fit back into them. More often than not, if it's been 6 years or more, that's actually lending to a depression that, I'll never fit into those things again. Let them go. That gives you the freedom and the openness to engage with your body and, meet it where it is and say, this is where I am and that's okay. And I'm going to work to make it what I want it to be and work your way down. And believe me, when you do that, you will have the money to buy yourself a new pair of jeans when the time comes. Okay, Phoenixes? So this is what I wanted to impart to you this morning as I was on my way to the post office, which I totally forgot it was Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day, depending on how you feel about it. And share that with you because I am doing this process too continually in my own life. And if this is resonating with you, I really, really encourage you to reach out to me because I love sharing these tips and tricks and helping you get to the life that you want to live, emptying out your closets and getting that warm, fuzzy feeling of giving. It is the joy of giving, the joy of sharing. And when we can all learn to give and share, I know it's as crazy as this sounds in this kind of world that we live in, when we can learn to give and share, we really find the warmth and the love within our own heart, and that is what makes us feel better. That combats anxiety, that combats fear, that combats depression, that combats all of these side effects that we're going through living in this world. So take a little bit of advice from a page from me and go and see if there isn't anything sitting around in the corners of your house, sitting around in your closets, craft supplies and things and old clothes and stuff that you're never going to use again. Honestly, if you have not touched it in 2 years plus, you're not going to use it again. I can tell you, you're not going to use it again. So get it out of there. Get it out of there, and you will be amazed at how free you can actually feel when you do that. You push through that fear by taking that small action of removing some of those things from your energetic field, and you will feel so much better. All right, my lovelies, that is what I wanted to share with you today for my day 8 of my 30-day challenge. I hope you all enjoyed my day at the fair yesterday. That was ridiculous. And I will be coming to you tomorrow with another major question that I get all the time is, what is really a spiritual empowerment coach? And how do we help people? Why does it matter? All of these kinds of things I get the questions to all the time because we do live in such a physical world. People are so concerned with the 9 to 5, with the grind, with making the money, with making the ends meet. They often wonder, it's like, why on earth do I need to bother with spirituality? So that is going to be coming to you throughout this week, questions like that. And of course, if you have any questions that you want me to answer in my 30-day challenge as I go along, please feel free to reach out to me. I am an open book for you guys, and I love answering your questions. So if you've got anything, pass it on this way. And I will see you next time. This is Daniella again of Redesign Your Life Forever. And I love you, and I'll see you soon.